So previously, we have seen one kind of rectifier, that is a half-wave rectifier. We have seen its operation and waveforms. Also, we have seen some of its parameters, like we have found its efficiency to be very poor, and also the ripple factor is too high. That's why we have said, we have concluded that it is not suitable for practical applications. So next, we have another kind of a rectifier, which is called a full wave rectifier. In this full wave rectifier, we actually convert both the half cycles of the input AC to pulsating DC. So a full wave rectifier is a circuit which converts both the half cycles of input AC to pulsating DC. Both the half cycles means both positive and negative half cycles of the input will be converted to pulsating DC. That means only in one direction. Okay. So the output current or the load current will be in only one direction as compared to what you had at the input, that is AC. So the way in which a full wave rectifier circuit is constructed, it can be in two ways. One is using two diodes and a special type of transformer we use there, that is called a center tap transformer. The other one is using four diodes which are arranged in the form of a bridge. We call that a bridge rectifier. Okay, so we will see one by one. First, whenever we simply mention full wave rectifier, we normally refer to this one, that is a two diode full wave rectifier. The other one is, using four diodes. This we normally call bridge rectifier. When we mention bridge rectifier, we are supposed to explain the full wave rectifier using four diodes. So first we will see a full wave rectifier using two diodes. So which we normally call full wave rectifier. When we just mention full wave rectifier, it is, you can take the full wave rectifier with two diodes into consideration and explain. So this is a circuit diagram of a full wave rectifier which has got two diodes. You can see there are two diodes, D1 and D2, and there is a special kind of a transformer you're using here, that is called a center tap transformer. So what do you mean by the center tap transformer is the center of the secondary of the transformer is connected to the ground. Okay, so there is a ground connected here. The center of the secondary of the transformer is connected to the ground. So what is the use of this is equal amounts of voltage is induced in both the halves of the secondary. This is the upper half, this is the lower half. So there are two voltages induced in the secondary, one at the upper half and second at the lower half. So both are equal voltages. That is, if V1 is the input AC, V2 is induced in both the halves, at upper half and lower half, but they are in opposite phase, because here you can see the negative is grounded here. Here, positive is grounded. So these V2 will be equal in magnitude, but their phase will be opposite, right? So we will see the operation, you will come to know that. So this two diodes, D1 and D2, two diodes are used because one of the diodes will be functioning in each half cycle. In half wave rectifier, only one diode was there, and it would be on only in one half cycle, and in the other half cycle, load current would be zero. But in this case, there are two diodes. One of them will be on in each half cycle, and there will be load current in both the half cycles, right? So during positive half cycle, D1 will be on and D2 will be off. During negative half cycle, D1 will be off and D2 will be on, so that there is load current in both the half cycles, right? So this is the way we have, and the output voltage is measured across the load resistance RL, and the current through RL is I naught. Okay, I naught is the current through RL. I naught is the current that is flowing through RL. Okay, I have to show that arrow mark like this. It consists of two diodes, D1 and D2. A step-down transformer is used to reduce the available AC voltage to the required level. This is a step-down transformer, and it is center tapped. It is center tapped so that two equal voltages are induced at both the halves of the secondary of the transformer. Then resistance RL is used at the load, which consumes power from the rectifier. Okay. Coming to the operation, we have the input signal as AC, right? So we will take it as Vm sine omega t. Input is a single phase AC, so it is Vm sine omega t. This is similar to what you have seen in half wave rectifier because input is the same. Then we have a transformer there. The turns ratio is given by N1 is to N2. That is equal to V1 is to V2. So if you rearrange, we will get the secondary voltage V2. V2 is N2 by N1 into Vm sine omega t, right? N2 by N1 into Vm sine omega t. For the case of simplicity, we will assume N1 is equal to N2. So in that case, we will get V2 is equal to Vm sine omega t, right? That is a sine wave with the peak value of Vm. Sine wave with the peak value of Vm. This is obtained at the secondary of the transformer. Now, there are two half cycles. One is positive half cycle, the other one is negative half cycle. We will divide our operation into two half cycles and see. First, during positive half cycle of the AC supply. During positive half cycle means for the values of omega t from 0 to pi, okay, or multiples of it, 0 to pi, 2 pi to 3 pi, 4 pi to 5 pi, they are all positive half cycles. In that case, what happens is during positive half cycle, if you look at the diagram here, during positive half cycle, yeah, this is positive means here you will be here you will be getting positive and here negative. Similarly, here positive and here negative. Yeah, this polarities are for positive half cycle. So diode D1, its P side is connected to positive and N side is connected to negative. Diode D2, its P side is connected to negative and N side is connected to positive, right? So diode D1 is forward biased, whereas diode D2 is reverse biased, right? Diode D1 is forward biased, whereas diode D2 is reverse biased. So as a result, diode D1 will be on and D2 will be off, right? If D1 is on, it is conducting. If D2 is off, it is not conducting. So what will be the path of the current when it is conducting? The current is flowing this way, right? The current is flowing this way, coming this way, going through this. It will become I naught here, and there is a ground here, right? There is a ground, so it will end up into this center tap, that is ground. So this is the path of the current, right? This is the path of the current from the positive of the input through the diode, it will go this way. And what about diode D2? Since it is reverse bias, it is off, so there is no current here. So there is no current in diode D2. So it's like this is an open circuit. You can replace this with an open circuit, right? During positive half cycle, diode D1 is forward biased and hence it conducts, whereas diode D2 is reverse biased and hence it does not conduct, or it remains off. The conducting diode can be replaced by its forward resistance RF. A non-conducting diode can be replaced by an open circuit, and you can draw the equivalent circuit like this. So this is at the secondary of the transformer. You have a plus and minus, V2 induced in both the halves. So diode D1 is forward biased. I have replaced that with its forward resistance RF. D2 is reverse biased, so I have replaced with it an open circuit, right? So the current through diode D2 is ID2, that is 0, whereas current through diode D1 is ID1, it is there, right? So that ID1 will be entering RL as I0, right? ID1 will be entering the RL as I0, so it is conducting. So this is like an open circuit. So while simplifying the equivalent circuit, you can remove this part, okay? You can remove this particular path and keep only the upper half, because this is not there. It's like an open circuit. There is no current here. We can remove this particular path and we can write it like this, right? So the current through RL, that is load current, is due to ID1. During positive half cycle, load current is due to ID1, that is the diode current through the diode 1 D1, right? Now for this circuit, if you apply KVL, you can write I0. You can get the equation for I0 as voltage divided by resistance. I is equal to V divided by R. So voltage is V2, resistances are RF and RL in series, right? RF plus RL. So I can write I0 is equal to V2 divided by RF plus RL. But what is my V2? V2 is Vm sine omega t. So I can write Vm sine omega t divided by RF plus RL. So if I keep this Vm divided by RF plus RL as Im, if I take Vm divided by Rf plus RL as Im, I can write it as Im sine omega t, where Im is equal to Vm divided by Rf plus RL. That's called the peak of the load current, peak load current, right? So this is the value of I0, that is Im sine omega t for positive half cycle. Okay. Now, what happens in negative half cycle? In the negative half cycle, what happens? This will be minus. Okay, this will be minus and this will be plus. Similarly, here it will be minus and here it will be plus. So two equal voltages are induced in the secondary half of the transformer, right? So then what happens? P side of the diode is D1 is connected to negative of the power supply. So diode D1 is reverse biased, whereas P side of the diode D2 is connected to positive of the power supply and N side is connected to negative. So the diode D2 is forward biased, right? In this case, diode D2 is forward biased, whereas D1 is reverse biased. That's why what happens, diode D2 is conducting, whereas D1 is not conducting, right? D2 is conducting, whereas D1 is not conducting. So what is the direction of the current now? Direction of the current, it comes like this, then it takes this particular path, right, goes here, then it comes here, right, so then it comes here, then it enters the ground here, right, so it is coming this way. From here the current is moving, then going to RL and coming this way, enters the ground. Whereas in the upper half, I mean, the diode D1 is an open circuit, so it is not conducting, so this part of the circuit you can just eliminate, right? So you can consider only the lower part where it is conducting. So current goes this way, comes this way, and enters this way. So during negative half cycle of AC supply, that is for the values of omega t from pi to 2 pi or 3 pi to 4 pi or 5 pi to 6 pi, they are all negative half cycles. Diode D2 is forward biased and hence it conducts, whereas diode D1 is reverse biased, so it does not conduct, right? So the conducting diode can be replaced by its forward resistance and non-conducting diode can be replaced by an open circuit. So here during reverse bias, during the negative half cycle, we have minus plus minus plus. So this is V2. So diode D1 is reverse bias, so I have replaced that with an open circuit, whereas diode D2 is forward bias, I have replaced that with its forward resistance. So this is the path of the current, right? So here there is an open circuit, so I can just eliminate this particular path and I can just, if I simply draw the equivalent circuit again of this, what we will end up getting is the similar one. You have V2 where there is plus, then RF, this is connected to RF, then RL. So I can just draw it the same way, but here the load current I0 is because of diode D2, that is IDT. The load current I0 is due to diode D2, that is IDT, right? So now the equation will be the same because the circuit is the same. What do you get I0 as? It is V2 divided by RF plus RL. V2 is Vm sin omega t. So again, I0 will be equal to Im sin omega t, right? I0 again will be equal to Im sin omega t, where Im is the peak value, and output voltage you can obtain using I0 into RL. So from this, we see that in both the half cycles, there is load current I0, which is equal to Im sin omega t, right? Then if you consider ideal diode, the forward resistance is zero there. So in this equation, if you put RF is zero, what remains is Im is just Vm by R. So that is the value of Im if you consider an ideal diode. But in practical cases, the diode will have certain forward resistance. So there will be certain RF. So Im will be equal to Vm by RF plus RL, right? So based on this operation, the equation, that is I0 is Im sin omega t for both the half cycles. We can draw the waveform of the input, load current and output voltage. So you will get it like this. So what you observe here, this is the input, whatever you see at the top, this is the input voltage. It is a sine wave, a sinusoidal wave with peak value of Vm. Okay, negative peak is minus Vm. Its period is 2 pi. For every 2 pi, it is repeating. Then diode D1 is conducting only during positive half cycle. So this is the current through diode D1, that is ID1. This is the current through the diode D1, right? So it is conducting only during positive half cycle. During negative half cycle, it is not conducting. So diode D1 is current through the diode D1 during negative half cycle is zero. During positive half cycle, it is Im sin omega t. So it is conducting. Peak value is Im, and it is conducting, right? Whereas diode D2, it is conducting only during negative half cycle. In the negative half cycle, it is conducting with Im sin omega t, right? Its current is Im sin omega t. It starts here from pi. It will become positive. Okay, from pi to 2 pi, it is positive Im sin omega t. That's why you get it like this. During positive half cycle, diode D2 is off. So during positive half cycles, the current through the diode D2 is 0. Now what you have observed, I naught during positive half cycle is due to ID1. So this is the load current I naught. During positive half cycle, ID1 will appear at I naught. During negative half cycle, I naught is due to diode D2, that is ID2. So during negative half cycle, ID2 will appear at I naught. So altogether, in both the half cycles, you get the output waveform I naught. That is, both will be positive, right? This means it is a pulsating DC. There is no negative half indicates there is no current in the opposite direction. We have converted AC to DC, right? It is only in one direction, but it is not a constant value. It is a pulsating DC, right? So this is the waveform of the load current. Okay, so this is the waveform of the load current. Then you have output voltage. Output voltage V naught is I naught into RL. So if you multiply I naught with RL, you get the similar waveform, right? And its peak value will be Im into RL, because peak value of I naught is Im, and there is RL here. V naught is I naught into RL. So peak value of output voltage will be Im into RL, right? So this is the way you can draw the waveform of full wave rectifier. Okay, this is the input, this is the current, these are the currents through diode D1 and D2, this is the load current, and this is the output voltage. Next, we can just have an illustration of that. See, this is the AC supply. It changes its polarity from plus to minus, minus to plus, right? So same way, there is a change in the polarities in the secondary of the transformer. This is first half, this is second half of the secondary. This ground means it is grounded. Okay, center is grounded. So what you observe there is, as the input changes, as the input changes, you can see as the supply changes, the polarities of the secondary also will change. If here there is negative, this will be negative, this will be positive. When here you get positive and negative, even the secondary's polarities will become plus and minus, right? That means based on these polarities, again, the operation of the diode will change. That means during one half cycle, one of the diodes will be on. During the other half cycle, the other diode will be on, right? So this is the way you can see the circuit. And if you want to see the operation of that with respect to the waveforms, right? During positive half cycle, this is the current flowing. This is the negative half cycle. During positive half cycle, yeah, this is the positive half cycle. Diode D1 is conducting. You can see diode D1 is conducting, and the output is because of D1. Now this is negative half cycle. Diode D2 is conducting, so the output is due to diode D2. So in both the half cycles, you get the output waveform, right? So this load current, you can also, it's actually connected here at this particular point. In the diagram, we have shown it like this. But actually it is connected at this particular point, since this is grounded. Okay, can show it either way. During positive half cycle, D1 is conducting. During negative half cycle, diode D2 or diode 2 is conducting. So in both the things, you get the output wave. Now there is one thing. The period of the input signal is 2 pi. What is the period of the output signal? The output is repeating for every pi, right? The output is repeating for every pi. So the period of the output in this case is not 2 pi, instead it is pi. Okay, the period of the output current, load current or output voltage, it is pi. After every pi, it is repeating. It is periodic with the period of pi. Whereas in case of half wave rectifier, it was 2 pi. So this was like a half wave rectifier, right? After every 2 pi, it was repeating. Similarly, input is repeating after every 2 pi. So the period of input is 2 pi, whereas the period of the load current is pi, right? In case of half full wave rectifier, period of load current is pi. So from that, we will derive some of the parameters of the full wave rectifier. First, we will see average or DC load current, that is IDC. We will start from the same, that is IDC is equal to area under one cycle of I naught divided by period of I naught. That is, you're going to integrate that and find the average. You're going to integrate and divide by the period. You'll get the average, right? What is area under one cycle of I naught? It is integration of I naught for one period as I said, the period of the load current I naught is pi here, not 2 pi. Here it is pi, right? So integration from 0 to pi divided by period of I naught is pi. What is I naught from 0 to pi? It is Im sine omega t. I naught is Im sine omega t. So I can write it like this: 1 by pi into integration of I naught is Im sine omega t with respect to omega t. If I integrate Im, I can keep it outside. Im by pi. Integration of sine omega t is minus cos omega t, minus cos omega t, right? Integration of sine omega t is minus cos omega t. Limits are from 0 to pi. If I apply the limits, uh, minus of minus cos omega t, right? Minus cos pi minus cos 0. Cos pi is minus 1, cos 0 is 1. So what do we get? Minus of minus 1 minus minus 1. Minus of minus 1 is 1 plus 1. What is 1 plus 1? 2. So it is Im by pi into 2. I can write it as 2 Im by pi. Okay, this is the average value of or the DC value of the load current in case of a full wave rectifier. Okay, it is IDC, that is equal to 2 Im by pi. In case of half wave rectifier, it was just Im by pi. Here it is 2 Im by pi. That's actually because you have both the half cycles. It is twice as that you have seen in the half. It's 2 Im by pi. Based on this, can you find the value of the average or DC output voltage, VDC? VDC is equal to IDC into RL. IDC into RL. What is IDC? You have obtained IDC as 2 Im by pi. What is Im in terms of voltage? Im is Vm divided by Rf plus RL. Right? Im is Vm divided by Rf plus RL. So I can substitute that. Im is Vm divided by Rf plus RL. So I can keep this Vm 2 Vm by pi separately, 2 Vm by pi separately, and write RL divided by Rf plus RL. 2 Vm by pi into RL divided by Rf plus RL, right? So this is my value of average value of the output. Now again, as we have seen, if you divide the numerator and denominator by RL, I will get in this particular format, right? That is 2 Vm by pi divided by 1 plus Rf by R. Okay, I can write it this way also: 2 Vm by pi divided by 1 plus Rf by R. Now if you consider the case of an ideal diode, Rf will be 0. So if this term is 0, 1 plus 0 is 1. So in the denominator you will have 1. So VDC will be just equal to 2 Vm by pi. That is only for the case of an ideal diode. VDC is equal to 2 Vm by pi. So this is how you get the expressions for IDC and VDC. IDC is 2 Im by pi. VDC is 2 Vm by pi by 1 plus Rf by RL. For ideal diode, VDC is 2 Vm by pi. Next parameter you have is the RMS value. RMS value, we also call it AC value, that is root mean square value or AC value of the load current, right? So we have seen how to get this. You have to square the load current, then find the average, then find the square root. Here the load current is I naught. So area under one cycle of I naught square divided by period of I naught square. Area under one cycle of I naught square is integration of I naught square from 0 to pi divided by period of I naught square is again pi, right? And find the square root of that. Now what is I naught? I naught is Im sine omega t, right? So if I substitute I naught as Im sine omega t, it will be Im square sine square omega t d omega t. Since Im square is a term not related to omega t, I can keep it outside. And since it is within the square root, if I bring it outside the square root, Im square, square root of Im square will be Im. And Im will be outside the square root. Then you have 1 by pi integration of sine square omega t d omega t. Okay, this sine square omega t I can write as 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. Similar thing what we have seen that in half wave rectifier, right? Sine square omega t, that is equal to 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. 2 if I keep here, it will be 1 by 2 pi into integration of 1 with respect to omega t minus integration of cos 2 omega t d omega t. Okay, integration of 1 minus integration of cos 2 omega t. I can split that. Integration of 1 is omega t. Integration of cos 2 omega t is sine 2 omega t by 2, right? So I will get it like this. Integration of 1 is omega t. Integration of cos 2 omega t is sine 2 omega t by 2. Limits are from 0 to pi. So apply the limits. If you apply the limits, what do you get? If you apply the limits, what do you get? Here you have 2, okay? You have 2 here. If you apply the limits, what do you get? omega t from 0 to pi, it is pi minus 0. Then there is 1 by 2 sine 2 pi minus sine 0. What do you get there? Sine 2 pi is 0, sine 0 is 0. So this term entirely becomes 0, right? This term is 0. Then what remains here? There is only pi. Pi divided by pi is 1. So it is 1 by 2. Square root of 1 by 2, you can write it as 1 by root 2. That's why the RMS value will be equal to Im by root 2, right? So root 1 is 1, root 2 will remain Im by root 2. So IRMS is Im by root 2, right? So this is just like the RMS value of your sinusoidal signal, that is Im by root 2, right? So IRMS is Im by root 2. Now using this, you can find the RMS value of your voltage, output voltage, that is VRMS, that is equal to IRMS into RL. IRMS is Im by root 2. Im I can replace with Vm divided by Rf plus RL. I can write this as Vm by root 2 into RL divided by Rf plus RL. Again, if I divide the numerator and denominator by RL, I'll get RL by RL is 1, Rf by RL plus RL by RL is again 1. So I will get Vm by root 2 divided by 1 plus Rf by RL. Right? This is my value of RMS output voltage. So again, if you consider the case of an ideal diode where Rf is equal to 0, I can write it as Vrms, that is equal to Vm by root 2 divided by 1 plus 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. Again, it will become just Vm by root 2. That's why for an ideal diode, Vrms is Vm divided by root 2. Okay, so these are the things we have seen. Today we have seen the operation of a full wave rectifier, its waveforms. Then we have got the expressions for two values, that is average or DC value of load current and output voltage, and RMS or AC value of load current and output voltage. In the next class, we will see derivation or the expressions for some other parameters like regulation, efficiency, and Ripple factor. And thereby we can solve some numerical examples of on half wave rectifier.